Always be learning, because what you'll benefit from what you learn, maybe even the same day, like I just did. Okay? Hey everybody, this is your hourly flipper Troy, live. Well, of course, tape delayed. Do you talk about tape anymore? I don't know. This is digitally delayed. Better. Okay. I've got a green screen behind me, and if I had enough time, I would put an ocean background back there. You know, the beach and the waves and the palm trees, because we're just getting back from vacation over the holidays. I've got all kinds of tips about how to go for 12 days, which is what we did, for the price of 7. If you're interested in that kind of thing, mention it down in the comments that you'd like to know. I could talk about lodging, food, travel, how to get some best deals that we literally just did to expand our vacation from 7 days to 12. All right. But you're not here to learn about that. You're here to talk about eBay sales and making money hourly. I've got some interesting things, and really I just grabbed my phone and wanted to start recording because I sold something already that I bought and listed on vacation. And I wanted to give you the flavor of what I did find. Okay, and these are some recommendations, and ultimately I will tell you the hourly profits of what I've made with a little bit of a sample. Then after we get done with that, I want to show you how being immersed in learning actually pays immediate dividends. Okay, so that is something that's very at the end. All right, here we go. I'm going to turn my camera around in just a second because we went down to Hilton Head Island on the southern tip of South Carolina, and we go down there frequently. You know, I go to Goodwills a lot around here, and I found 2 different Goodwills that are there. So it's pretty awesome. Here is, as I went away, I took a picture of it because, so let me turn this around. Hold on. All right. This is me driving away from the Goodwill. Notice that it says Goodwill, and it's obvious for people looking for it that is the Goodwill, but there's palm trees there. And that's pretty funny that, you know, you would have, I don't imagine palm trees around Goodwills, but this one does. It's in Bluffton, South Carolina, and it is a great one. Let me pivot around because on this screen, I have where I spent most of my time at the Goodwill. Let's go back and it'll show you the front door. So there's the front door. Give you a sense that that's about 12 feet or so. And across that back wall there's probably 40 feet of donated books. And I spent so much time in that corner because I had 2 hours that I could set and go through. We went with family, and family were doing things that I just did not want to do. And so I drove the 4 miles up to this Goodwill. And I started at the right side of that shelf there and moved to the left. And then I would come back the second shelf from the top, and then the third shelf. Looked at them all. Here are some of the examples of what I saw. I took pictures of them, you know, because I was seeing if they were worth anything. And what I'll do is just go through telling you why I looked at these. And hopefully that'll make sense as you're at your Goodwill or thrift store looking at books. Okay? I always pause and look for books that are still in the plastic. This is the book of the My Pillow guy. And I wondered if it would be worth anything. As you can see, it's still in the plastic. There's a rip in the plastic, so it's not pristine. But this is something that I would list as an open box new. And FYI, it's not worth anything. Okay? Let's go down here more. Hold on just a second. All right. This is something else that I look at. I said the religious books or something. Things like this, Respectable Sins. That was an interesting title, to say the least. I looked it up, and this one was not worth anything. I did find 2 Bibles in the same area, in the same section of that shelf. And I did purchase those two, and those are going to be about $20 items. And they were just side by side. I look for textbooks kind of thing. This is Literary Theory and Research, Analysis of Multiple Paradigms. It had words that I didn't know. No, I'm kidding there. But with sounding fancy, I checked it. I had to do an image search for it since there wasn't a barcode. But unfortunately, this was a little bit too out of date that it wasn't worth picking up. Remember thick paperbacks where the cover is pretty thick. Do you see that? This was one of those. I did pick this one up. And First Rate Publishers is who the publisher is, and it was a higher quality. It is about a $40 book, but there are a few of them. I'm probably going to go down to $25 to get rid of that one. This is a book that I checked out because it is part of a series, and this was number 1. It wasn't worth anything, but when there are series, I usually check it number 1 to see if it's worth anything. And again, this unfortunately was not. Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. That is an old book that I was for sure I was going to buy and bring home because it would be valuable. But this copy was not. Here is a book that's in the public domain that is published, Frankenstein. And sometimes I should talk about making money with the public domain. But right now, focusing on this book was not valuable. But it's an example of a book that is assigned in the classroom to read where everybody has the same copy. Interesting. Here we are back to that last book again. And again, always look for the books that are in the plastic. Let me grab the book that I was the most happy about getting, again, on that shelf at that Goodwill. And it is the book Silent Spring. It was there, just nestled among those valueless books. And it's a book from the 60s, and actually it's pretty pivotal, connected to being eco-friendly back when that was not trendy at all. And the way future was all kinds of fertilizers and industrial farming. Well, Rachel Carson wrote this book, and it was something that changed the way we thought about industrial farming. And this was a copy that was there. It is a library copy. And I think that's why it's in as good of a condition as it is. You'll see that it is not in great condition, but someone happily paid $19.99 for it, and I paid $1.59. Okay? So that's a sample. I killed 2 hours going to Goodwill. And as I've pointed out, there were those 3 books that I mentioned already. That book as well, which again has already sold. Let me turn this around. Hold on. I'm guessing that probably because I don't think anyone has gone through those books with the fine-tooth comb that I did. Comb, not cone. But I'm probably going to make $100 an hour over those 2 hours. I had to pack the books in the car on the way home, and that felt a little bit weird, but because we had sand and all that kind of stuff. But it'll be about $100 an hour going for those 2 hours to get those books. And then, of course, the listing and the price and all the way. I haven't listed most of those yet. I just wanted to see if they're, of the 6 that I did list, one of them already sold it. So I was excited, and I brought this about. Okay? So I think that there were lots of books still there because you don't think about going to Goodwills when you're on vacation, and particularly a place, a beach location, because the beach is the draw. But there's always opportunities to go. You may check library sales for those books or Goodwills along the way. It added to my enjoyment, 2 hours perusing books. And it was a moneymaker. To be clear, for the vacation, we spent money. But for those little 2 hours, we made money. All right, let me change something up here because I want to show you how things in things in serendipity, serendipitous things just happen. Okay, let me turn this around again. Literally, this morning, I was watching a video by Curator of the Lost, okay? And I am subscribed now. This was there before. Actually, I have to, well, let's see. This is fun and exciting. Watch me subscribe live. That's awesome. Okay. Anyway, here we go. I've queued this up, I believe, to exactly what I want you to hear. Let me turn the sound up. And
let's jump into what I got. I know if you're tuning into the 25-cent sale, you're like, get on with it, right? But if you've watched my videos any length of time, you know I got stories to tell. So this first one tickles me, right? Because I think every book sale I've gone to, I found one of these. It's the Betty Crocker cookbook. This is like the 1972 version, I think. This is not the spiral bound or the ring bound. This is a second printing. As a second printing, and it's in great shape. A lot of times you look in and there's notes. This one doesn't even look like it's hardly used. This is a solid $25 cookbook. I sell these when I get them, and luckily, like every 25-cent sale I've gone to, it seems like I find one of these. I'm always on the lookout for the vintage Betty Crocker. Now you get to the Betty.
All right, I want to pause that there. Let me turn this around. I've always avoided cookbooks. I did a deep dive into cookbooks at some point, and it just happened to the ones that I looked at weren't valuable. And so I gave up for them for really 6 months to a year. Seeing this morning, when I went to Goodwill, just for fun, I looked at some cookbooks that were there. Now, this is real hot off the press news, okay? I found a cookbook that was worth buying. Let me reach it. Here we go. Your anticipation is building. Look at that. It's called Brenda Gant with 2 T's. It's going to be good, y'all. Okay? Have you seen a book like this before? I'm sure you have. Have you seen a Betty Crocker book like that before? I'm sure you have. That one is a $25 book, right? Well, this one I paid, the price tag is still on it right there. Can you see $1.59? That is what I paid for this book right here. And he mentioned that book was in good condition. This book is in like new condition. Really, really, really good. Let me put that down because I want to show you comps on this. Let me click on my eBay tab. All right. I've already brought it up and I have clicked on sold. And look at that cookbook. It's going to be good, y'all. $98.99. Pre-owned. Hot dog. And that's not an anomaly. Look at this. New books, of course, are higher, but pre-owns are steadily around that price. So I watched that video, went to Goodwill, and made $60 on that one book. That was awesome. So thank you so much, Curator of the Lost, for sharing that tip. It changed my life today. I feel really good about going to that Goodwill and getting that book. And I would not have even looked at cookbooks, but for your video about the church sale. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So there's the video today. 2 separate things. One, look at Goodwills and library sales when you're on vacation. That's a way to have a different kind of fun. And then secondly, always be learning, because what you'll benefit from what you learn, maybe even the same day, like I just did. Okay? If you like stuff like this, please subscribe and like this video so that it pushes to other people. And if you do want me to talk about, just do a separate video on our vacation practices, we really suck the marrow out of availability of deals, let me know. All right? So have a good rest of the day. Bye.